How's it going? My name is Molloy, and I'm going to be showing you some of the builds that have cropped up inside of the speedrunning community and that are actually making waves in unexpected ways. This is going to be a look at how the wounding hammer works, which I've had my eyes on for a little while, but haven't had the cells to actually put into play until very recent. And now I'm very happy to actually have a chance to try it, and I have been so delighted with the results. They're actually insane. So once I log in here, I'll show you what my loadout looks like, and then I'll jump into two videos where I'm actually using it and just quickly show you some highlights of how well it actually works. Okay, so we are in Ramsgate. I'm going to jump into my loadout. So the way that this setup works is I'm going to need at least 3 tech slots right now. I've got one inside of my Razor Wing chest piece, I've got one inside of my Reza helm, and I've got one in the basic Carabac legging. So inside of those, I'm going to be putting Acidic, which will convert half of my damage output on parts to wound damage. That will allow me to apply wounds, which I will then take huge advantage of with the Savagery cells that I have inside of my other tech slots. So I'm running with 5 Savagery right now, and that gives me a total of 180% damage versus wounded parts. I'd like to hit that 6, but I don't have 2 plus 3 cells. I'm gonna bolster this setup with Rage Hunter, Pacifier, and a Shrike Lantern that will give me attack speed. I'm gonna have no conditioning or stamina return in this build, so it's not going to be taking advantage of primes very much or inline reloads, and because Final Blast on the hammer at the end of the combo doesn't actually multiply at all, doesn't like count into any multipliers, I'm not going to be using that at all inside of any of my the runs that you'll see. Okay, so inside of the Rage Tail run, you'll see that I'm actually focusing a lot on the tail to get my my wound applied. There's a couple different reasons for that. One is just the very fact that it's giant, it's so big and so easy to hit. But the other reason is because hammers can't actually break tails, or cut them, I mean. That means essentially that I'm going to be able to hit it almost indefinitely once the wound is applied, and never lose that that wound as the savagery buff. So you'll see me, I'm gradually trying to work it up. Now that I'm in rage mode, I'm able to do significantly more wound damage because of Rage Hunter and Pacifier, which both stack to do more damage. I'm still working on face and legs anywhere that I can get some downtime on the behemoth by knocking it out. But first and foremost, trying to get that tail wounded so that I can just blast on it once he does get knocked down. And you'll see how that works once I actually get him. So here, I finally get the knockout. The tail is wounded, and there you can see gigantic damage being done. You can see that and there he dies. You can see that I'm not actually using primes very often. I'm just trying to take as much advantage of those like triple hits that I can get on the tail because of its just gigantic size and the way that the horizontal swings work with hammer for the multi-hit on like if you're close enough to the behemoth. So essentially this build is like probably hitting around 3,000 per like hit once you have all the everything aligned perfectly, and leads to some like disgustingly fast clear time. Then on the Charog run that I'm going to show you, the way that I work instead is that I'm going to be focusing on the front of his body, since there isn't very much a reason to like devote all my time to his backside. For one reason, he's so giant, but basically the idea is that he has a modifier on him, heroic firebrand that causes him to take reduced part damage, and so I wasn't too concerned about actually breaking his parts extremely quickly. I was shocked to discover, once I actually got the wounds on him, how quickly his parts broke. Turns out that he takes like potentially even greater damage from wounded parts than a regular behemoth would, and that's like the downside to his modifier. You can see there I hit something like 2,000 just part damage, which would of course be doubled in actual damage because what you're seeing is only the halved number because of acidic. So yeah, essentially I'm just working on the front of his body here and trying to get all those wounds which I have on his face and his two vents on either side of his body, and just cracking him as good as I can. So yeah, this is the wound hammer in Dauntless. I hope that it was as interesting and surprising to you as it has been to me, and maybe you'll find some way to make better use of it once Deadeye comes out, and find a way to work it into your own plays. I'm not sure how good this will actually end up being right now, as long as Acidic is actually continues to be bugged and not take anything from part damage bonuses for a party. But in solo play, it works pretty amazingly, as you can see, as long as you focus one or two particular parts. So yeah, that's all that I really wanted to share. Also, make sure to check out the speedrun thread on the forums in order to see all the most interesting and top builds that are floating around right now, and to join into the conversation about what potential builds might be the best in the future. Thanks for taking a look at this, and have a nice day.